So this is the frame of reference. But not only frame of reference is involved in the communication model, we also, in the communication model, have something we call the code. And I already mentioned that when you wish to send an information, that you as an encoder, you are the one who put codes to the message, the information. What is a code? In communication, what do we call a code? When we encode information, we actually use 3 different codes in communication. The first code is called a verbal code. Now, verbal code it's actually the words, the meaning of words that we say. The verbal code is, or the language code, is something that's very important, but guess what? It's not the most prevalent code. Of all the codes, of all 3 codes, language code is maybe the code that carries the exact meaning of the words you say. However, because it is accompanied by 2 different codes, its significance is not the greatest. So it's not the greatest, it's not the most prevalent code that happens in our communication. And it's actually the spoken or written words. So language or verbal code is actually the words that we speak, and the words that we write, or in other words, the words that we express. Then code number 2, or the second code, is called a paralanguage code, or if you wish, vocal code. That means these do not carry the exact meanings, the definitions, or the meaning of the word itself, but instead it is something that is sounded. Like, for example, the pitch of my voice, or how fast I articulate, how clearly I articulate, the way I articulate or, s, other vowels, other things and other sounds. So whatever is sounded and has no verbal meaning, we call it a paralanguage, or we call it a vocal code. And then we have this third code, and the code number 3 is called a nonverbal code. What is a nonverbal code? Well, nonverbal code is something that happens when you, and if you were to switch the volume of this presentation down, if you just simply get rid of any sound, would probably look something like this. You would see me doing all kind of silly gestures, but you would not hear a thing. So code number 3 is called nonverbal, of, if you wish, visual code. And it's the code that is important in a presentation, but does not carry any sounds or any meanings. And guess what? Vocal and visual code, when you combine the sounds, the volume, the pitch of the voice, the clarity of the voice, when you combine it together with the gestures, body language, nonverbal communication, it accounts for almost 70% of all the communication meaning. It actually, the importance of a message that is communicated is divided into the nonverbal and paralanguage code and verbal. And what results more important from the communication is actually what is transmitted through the vocal and the visual code. 70% of what you say is judged by how you say it and how you appear when you say it. Around 30% is judged by what really the words mean. I heard one Chinese proverb that says that your actions speak louder than your words. And I think this quite nicely illustrates this principle of codes, communication codes. The language code, paralanguage code, and non-verbal code.